To my Mormon friends, my Latter-day Saint friends, think of him as Captain Moroni. He seeks not power but to pull it down. He seeks not the praise of the world or the fake news, but he seeks the well-being and the peace of the American people.
In this security footage, you can see Officer Goodman running to respond to the initial breach. Officer Goodman passes Senator Mitt Romney and directs him to turn around in order to get to safety.
Travis Wingetzel. You believe in what you follow. That is a precept that I have applied and produced the results of and found it to be true. So if you haven't done that yet, I highly recommend it. Because I'm sure you believe in a lot of things, or at least you say you do. But is that who you follow? For example, do you follow a living prophet of Jesus, President Russell Marion Nelson? You may say you do, but do you? Do you know of the change in the law of chastity? Or are you illiterate? Or are you making excuses? You believe in what you follow. What you say means nothing unless you follow it. Because if you follow something else, you're what's called a hypocrite or pulling a double standard. Or if you know that you're following something else and lying to people, that makes you evil. You are the enemy of mankind because you're purposely trying to get other people to not follow what they believe. Changing definitions, changing the context. And so yeah, I've had those Mormons who've told me that I can't judge them. Are you sure? Where are you getting that from? Where in Scripture does it say we are not allowed to judge people? Because I'm unfamiliar with it. Please help me. You apparently know your Scriptures better than I do. Because there's that whole book of Judges. And you may say, it's right there in Matthew chapter 7, verse 1. And then I would tell you, did you not read the rest of the context? Oops. Gotcha. And so, Article of Faith, number 12. We believe. So, here you are. Let's put you to the test. Do you believe Joseph Smith when he says we believe? Are you included in following Joseph Smith, Article of Faith, number 12, in being subject to kings, presidents, rulers, and magistrates, in obeying, honoring, and sustaining the law? What is the law of the United States of America? Your answer should be the United States Constitution. Have you ever read it? What form of government are we supposed to be? Because I'm hearing all over the news that we're supposed to be a democracy. That democracy is in jeopardy by the other party. Are we allowed to have party groups? What form of government are we supposed to have if we believe in being subject to kings, presidents, rulers, and magistrates, in obeying, honoring, and sustaining the law? Anybody remember Utah Senator Mike Lee? If you don't remember, you just need to Google search and you'll find him. He's still the Utah Senator from... Yeah. He was caught attempting to overthrow the government in 2020's election. Senator Mike Lee, in case you didn't know, is a Mormon. Born and raised, with pioneer ancestry. John D. Lee is his third great-grandfather. Who was John D. Lee? What did he do to believe in obeying, honoring, and sustaining the law? Anybody know about 9/11, 1857? Yep. Like third great-grandfather, like third great-grandson. Senator Lee, claiming to be a Mormon, does not believe in Article of Faith number 12. Plain and precious. And Mormons still voted him back in 2022 because SCOTUS and the DOJ did not adhere to the United States Constitution of Amendment 14, Section 3. He was not allowed to run. Supposed to be immediately removed from office and imprisoned for the rest of his life as an insurrectionist. I was born and raised in the Covenant Mormon. The questions that the church did not answer resulted in my having deciphered Paleo-Hebrew and the learning of the Egyptians and the language of the Egyptians, which turned me into an anthropologist of the ancient Middle East and pretty much anything that I want to study. I learned how to learn. I learned the scientific techniques, learned logical Socratic methodology to develop science-based theories, to have them tested for confirmation, and establish facts, truth. In other words, producing the word into reality by which I can then judge it as true or false. And it was real easy because the scriptures told me to do that. Amazing. Science in the scriptures, huh? So why then is religion anti-science? Why is the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints anti-science? Again, what they say means nothing when they follow something else. And so I learned that Joseph Smith and the Book of Mormon are true as prophecy and revelation. To call them literal history is to deny prophecy and revelation. Prophecy is a prediction of the future. And so Lehi, Nephi, Benadi, Mosiah, King Benjamin, etc., 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 cannot be literal history characters and the Book of Mormon still be prophecy and revelation. The Book of Mormon is, as it says it is, prophecy and revelation or it's lying to us, and the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is true, that it's literal history. And thus, exfo nevermos are correct in that it's a complete and utter fraud. Take your pick, Mormons. You get to choose with your feelings. No, you don't. You don't get to pick what you believe in. You do, but there are consequences. And so, as a result, I've been attacked ever since moving to Utah in August 1996 by members of the church. And at first, because it was just members of the church, that it was just Mormons who felt threatened by my superior intelligence. That they don't believe because they're illiterate. That they've never bothered to read and study the scriptures as I have. And so, as a result, are like the people of Zarahemla who created their own religion with a spirit god, just like the Lamanites did, because they didn't have scriptures to study. But then the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints attacked. And it's strange that if the church had just left me alone, if Mormons had just left me alone, I would have stopped. I would not have continued on in my research and study, because I was just looking for answers. I got them. I'm done. But now I need to find out why my own church, why my own people are attacking me for telling them that Joseph Smith and the Book of Mormon are true. Why are you attacking me? It's not logical. You say you believe in Joseph Smith and the Book of Mormon, just as I do, but I'm the one who confirmed it as true, and you instead are following Nehor from Alma chapter 1, enforcing your beliefs with violence, threats, and the sword. Or as Desnat calls it, a javelin. What's up with that, Mormons? Are you third, fourth, possibly even second, depending on how old you are, generation of grandchildren from contemporaries with John D. Lee? Interesting. And so, because of the attacks, there were more questions that popped up. I needed answers. Church obviously isn't going to give them to me. So, utilizing my education, I followed the same processes to get the answers. Got them. And yes, Mormons are still angry. Mormons still say that I can't judge them. I know you by your fruits. You can't lie and deceive me. You can't threaten me, because I'll just uncover more stuff that you didn't want me to uncover. Right, Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints? All they had to do was leave me alone, treat me as an equal, show love. Nope, couldn't do it, could you? And so, I would learn on the 4th of November 2016 on Fox 13 News Utah in the morning, the very last segment of the news show for the day, of the coming of the total solar eclipse over the United States of America on the 21st of August 2017, my jaw dropped. Remember, I'm an anthropologist of the ancient Middle East. I know all about it. I know what it means. That's what I followed. That's what I believed. I know all about it. You might say I'm the expert. In fact, I'm the only person on the face of the earth who knows this information. And so, what have I been doing? Giving it away for free. So that you can know. Because I follow the precept of Plato from his Republic, in which, when you obtain knowledge on anything, you now have a duty to share it with others. And so he somewhat postulates that the best politicians are those who don't want to be politicians but are philosophers. Because the politicians are those who want to be politicians, and they've never demonstrated that they want to help mankind. And so, knowing of the coming destruction of the United States of America, I then had a whole bunch more questions. Needed answers, and I'm the only one who knows how to get them. I'm the only one who knows about them. And so I've been doing the videos all these years, explaining to you of signs in the heavens and the likeness of things on the earth. My number one video before YouTube was ordered by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints to shut me down and keep you from learning what I know, so that you will continue to believe and follow the living prophet of Jesus. Not me. Not Joseph Smith. Not the Book of Mormon. And yeah, that's why I am out of the church. I stopped going to church because the bishop said, your video on the Book of Mormon being true goes against the prophets. Why are you bothering to come to church? Oh, okay, bye. Nobody threatens me. I know the truth. He doesn't. So, stake president likewise didn't care to do anything about it. So, bye. Never went back. And at the same time, I was also studying Carthage jail to find out who'd done it. Oops. Had questions, needed answers. Went back to the beginning of church history. And my contribution to ex-foes has been disregarded by ex-foes. What the hell, guys? What the hell? You're not one of us. You still believe Joseph Smith and the Book of Mormon are true. You left the church, but you didn't leave the church. You claim you don't believe, and yet you still utilize the same tactics. And so I learned about 9/11, 1826 in Canandaigua, New York. You know, that same date on 9/11, 1857, right, Senator Lee? I learned that that was the birth of the Book of Mormon. That was the birth of the church that Joseph Smith founded on 6 April, 1830. Interesting, the 9/11s. Even September 22nd, 1823, is it, Joseph? Is it? Or is it prophecy and revelation? Hold on a minute, gonna have to come back. So, remember 2 weeks ago, the cyber terroristic attack that shut down our electric for 9 hours? I still haven't fixed, 11 p.m. Still haven't fixed the clock on the oven. Has 9 hours and 14 minutes. That's how long it took them to fix it. When initial reports said they would have it fixed immediately, but then they sent out a call saying, if you know anything that happened, please tell us, because we don't know. Yeah, cyber terrorist attack that shut down our power. And so, that was what caused Microsoft Security to again force their program on me. And if you've been following me for years, you know that I've already confirmed and well established that it's a cyber terroristic threat. So even though it says Microsoft Security, I know better. I know that Microsoft Security follows the enemy of America, because they are the enemy of America. And so sure enough, 2 weeks later, this morning, had deleted again. So it's very sad that people don't understand this concept. It doesn't matter what you say you believe in. It's what you do that determines who or what you follow. So, how many of you voted for Senator Lee? The majority of you didn't. Who do you follow again? Article of Faith number 12? Or, remember when he called Trump Captain Moroni? Who does Senator Lee follow? Certainly not the Book of Mormon. Certainly not the Book of Mormon. And so did you vote for Trump? 2016? Because you didn't want to be, or you didn't want to vote Democrat, so you'd rather be Russian? I saw your posts on Facebook. And so you went and voted for him again in 2020, didn't you? And you're going to vote for him again this year, despite knowing his over 900-page platform, Project 2025, as to how he's going to take away your agency, subject you into bondage, murder you, take away your property. Oh, you believe that he was going to not tax tips, huh? You have no clue because you didn't read the over 900-page platform of the trap that he's setting for you. You don't believe him when he says stuff? You think it's just a joke? That he would certainly never cross that line again. That he's learned his lesson. God. Mosiah 29. Mosiah, Moses Yah, is giving up the kingdom, going to start the reign of the judges. And so he has to explain to the people that his sons don't want to be king. They're going to go preach to those Lamanites. What good is that going to do? They're not going to believe. They follow the inverted pentagram of Lucifer on the keystone of the doors of the Lamanite temple at their temple square headquarters. And so he explains that he can't pass the kingdom to the non-birthright blessing son, because the birthright blessing son may decide, no, I want power and dominion over the people. And thus war. And so, if it were possible that you could have just men to be your kings, who would establish the laws of God and judge this people according to the Jewish 10 Commandments, not the Christian 10 Commandments. Do you know the difference? Did you know there was a difference? Louisiana apparently doesn't. Louisiana overthrew the Constitution of the United States of America. They claim to follow, and sure enough, they are a insurrectionist, terrorist group who have seceded from the nation with their action. So he has to remind the people about King Noah, his wickedness and his abominations in verse 18 of Mosiah 29. And also the wickedness and abominations of his people. Because when you have corrupt leaders, like Senator Mike Lee, the people want to be corrupt too. And just this past week, wasn't it? Another Mormon sentenced for the insurrection on January 6th. He voted for Trump. There's a reason why. And it's because you don't believe the Book of Mormon. Behold, what great destruction did come upon them. National divorce. 3rd Nephi chapter 7. It's coming, and you don't believe the Book of Mormon. And also because of their iniquities, they were brought into bondage. And they had to wear underwear as a symbol of their bondage. If you're not going to watch Oakes' conference talk, I did. Don't go judging me when you didn't even bother. You went on vacation. I stayed home and watched it. The whole thing. Ugh. And then we skip down to 21. And behold, now I say unto you, you cannot dethrone an iniquitous king. Save it be through much contention and the shedding of much blood. This has been the argument. We can't stoop to their level. We can't lock them up, because then they'll retaliate by locking us up. They're locked up. How are they going to retaliate? Hello? Dumbass deep state Dems. You failed us. For behold, he has his friends in iniquity. Everybody must give loyalty to him. Everybody must be compromised, must commit crime. And if you're not paid attention, Trump gets convicted, Hunter Biden gets convicted. Everybody's doing it. Might as well let us do it. Let crime not be crime. Let reality not be real. Let truth not be true. And you fall for that, do you? And keepeth his guards about him, SEAL Team 6, to assassinate Biden. He teareth up the laws. Constitution. Constitution means that I can do whatever I want. Who reigned in righteousness before him, and he trampleth under his feet the commandments of God. I'm the chosen one. And he enacteth laws with his Sharpie. With Project 2025, he's going to fix that problem so he doesn't need to use a Sharpie anymore. He just says it and it will be done. If you don't understand, John Oliver covered it in his show last Sunday. That didn't come out on YouTube until Thursday. And sendeth them forth among his people, yea, laws after the manner of his own wickedness. You've never read his Art of the Deal? And whosoever doth not obey his laws, he causeth to be destroyed. So he's just going to let Utah be run and operated as a separate sovereign kingdom of Zion by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints? Is he? And whosoever doth rebel against him, he will send his armies against them to war and nuke them. See, before people told him no. Project 2025 has got this all figured out. Nobody will tell him no anymore. And if he can, he will destroy them. And thus an unrighteous king doth pervert the ways of all righteousness. Now, if democracy could work, that would be great. However, democracy is a failed system because you can easily brainwash the majority into choosing stupidity and wickedness. And so thus you have to have a constitutional republic and the Constitution for the constitutional republic. Which we'll cover when we get to into Alma. First, we need to go to Helaman. Mormons hate it when I do this. No. 21, Helaman chapter 6. Satan did stir up the hearts of the more part of the Nephites, who believed in Jesus, but followed Lucifer, insomuch that they did unite with those bands of robbers, with the Council for National Policy in 1981, to overthrow the government, did enter into their covenants and their oaths, that they would protect and preserve one another in whatsoever difficult circumstances they should be placed, that they should not suffer for their murders, and their plunderings, and their stealings, and their insurrections. It came to pass that they did have their signs, yea, their secret signs of the inverted pentagram of Lucifer, and their secret words of doublespeak, and this that they might distinguish a brother who had entered into the covenant, that whatsoever wickedness his brother should do, he should not be injured by his brother, nor those who did belong to this band who had taken this covenant path. Thus they might murder and plunder and steal and commit whoredoms and all manner of wickedness, contrary to the laws of the United States of America and the Constitution, and also the laws set forth by Joseph Smith. And whosoever should be born in the covenant path of the great and abominable church, who should reveal to the world of their wickedness and abominations, Travis, should be tried not according to the laws of their country. 2008, right, Mark Shurtleff? But according to the laws of their wickedness. What happened to Mark? Oh, yeah, he's got a booking photo too. But Mormons stepped in to protect him. Even the FBI Mormons stepped in to protect him, and thus ruined the lawsuit. But his wife got revenge on him. His daughter needs to get revenge on him too. Alma. There we go. Chapter 46, starting in verse 11. Now it came to pass that when Moroni, who was the chief commander of the armies of the Nephites, had heard of these dissensions, he was angry with Amalickiah. Looks like we need to go to 10. Yea, we see that Amalickiah, because he was a man of cunning device and a man of many flattering words, that he led away the hearts of many people to do wickedly, yea, and to seek to destroy the church of Joseph Smith, and to destroy the United States of America and the liberty which God had granted unto them, or which blessing God had sent upon the face of the land for righteousness' sake. So then we can go to 12. And it came to pass that Captain Moroni, Chief Commander Moroni, rent his coat, and he took a piece thereof, and wrote upon it with a Sharpie. This is a flag, in case you didn't know. In memory of our God, our religion, and freedom, and our peace, our wives, plural child-bred polygamous wives, who are our children also. No! And he fastened it upon the end of a pole. The Book of Mormon condemns polygamy 6 times. Do not misinterpret this. And he fastened on a headplate and a breastplate and shields, and girded on his armor about his loins, chastity belt. And he took the pole which he had on the end thereof his rent coat, and he called it the title of liberty. And he bowed down to it and worshipped it and gave this rote prayer. No. It's for those who are true believers in Christ. Do you say you believe in Christ but worship Lucifer? Do you? Do ya? Do you say you're an American patriot, but seek to overthrow it, like SCOTUS? Alright, so then we go to 51, and verse 17. And it came to pass that Moroni commanded that his army should go against those kingmen. He was battling the Lamanites. Pehoran called for help, saying that the kingmen were trying to overthrow the United States of America with January 6. But nobody wanted to follow Captain Moroni to the Capitol to save America. And instead, they were all at the Capitol trying to overthrow the government. They would go on to fail ultimately, and thus they're repeating it this year, Project 2025. Remember, prophecy and revelation. You should have caught on when I said that in the beginning. To pull down their pride and their nobility and level them to the earth. When they're down, you kick them. Former AG under Obama. He was right. Everybody picked on him and condemned him, and he backed down. Shame on you. It's your job to kick them when they're down. That's what lawyers are for. And that they should take up arms in support of the cause of liberty, not in the cause of the kingmen. And it came to pass that his armies did march forth against them. They did pull down their pride and their nobility, insomuch that as they did lift up their weapons of war to fight against the men of Moroni, they were hewn down and leveled to the earth. What is the penalty for insurrection? What was supposed to happen to Captain Moroni, Senator Mike Lee of Utah? And there were 4,000 of those dissenters who were hewn down by the sword, and those of their leaders who were not slain in battle were taken and cast into prison. Were they? Oops. For there were no time for their trials at this period. Yeah, because there's wars going on. Cozy Bear is attacking America, and we're not doing anything to Putin about that? What the hell? Putin is at war with us, and we're not attacking back? Seriously? Because they're not stopping. When you have established an enemy against you, you need to defend yourself in America. You don't just say that you don't want to cross that line and be like Putin. You notice the difference here. Captain Moroni is not the bad guy. He's defending. And yet I hear in TV show after TV show after movie, you can't be like the enemy. You can't kill him, Superman. You need to lock him up and assign him to a psychologist who will try to reform him. Really? Because the Federation, their rules, no capital punishment. And so, an enemy threat who needed to be exterminated for his crimes, they let him go. And thank goodness for the script writers who proved to us that you should let criminals go free and that justice not be served for the victims, because he, was able to save Voyager. With the sacrifice of his life. God. So many false doctrines and false beliefs. Hypocrisy. So yeah, I'm not a fan of the Federation rules and Prime Directive. It's all crap. Segregationist, elitist propaganda by Gene Roddenberry. Because it's not about should we talk about this? The Prime Directive, you don't interfere in another culture's development, especially you don't make first contact until they are superior like you. Almost. You're still better, but they now have warp drive. And so it's okay to now communicate with them and let them know you've been spying on them, watching their development. And so their concern is that you're going to completely alter their society for the rest of their life. So, and they've brought out the concern that they then will destroy themselves with the new weapon technology. Why are you giving them weapons? Oh my hell. Again, this goes blatantly in violation of Plato's suggestion that once you obtain knowledge, it's now a duty and a responsibility for you to share that knowledge with others. And even though they're chained to the walls of bondage and that they want to murder you for trying to share that knowledge with them, the allegory of the cave, you still have a duty and responsibility. Right, Mormons? And so, yeah, they have cures. When they went back in time on that one episode of, it wasn't Deep Space Nine, it was New Generations, wasn't it? I'm trying to think of the characters that were involved. But they were locked up in San Francisco's concentration camp for the poor and no identities. And the doctor, medical doctor, Bashir, was it Deep Space Nine? It was Deep Space Nine. Okay. Is complaining that they have the technology to cure all of these illnesses for the people. And then he blew it by talking about psychology can help them too. Psychology was the one that caused the problem. Script writers. And so, yeah, this is what Star Trek should be doing, is making contact and saying, we have the technology to help improve your life and society. We'll continue to come back and help you develop. And if they demand weapons, then you say, no, we can't give you weapons, you'll murder yourself, you'll upset the balance of power in your area. But we need you to be good neighbors, so that we'll go to them too, and likewise share with them our new technologies, but not weapons. And teach them how to learn, how to develop the culture, using science and math and logic. Not Vulcan logic, it's not logic, it's fallacy, in case you hadn't noticed. Scriptwriters. When you're writing fiction, you need to study the background material of the context of your fiction. And so even though you're going to use fictional characters, you're going to put them in a historical context. Even if it's in the future, which you're just making up anything goes, like Star Trek. You still need to conform to science. And so you can't use evolution in Star Trek, even though you wouldn't have a show without it. But nonetheless, so yeah, very frustrating, even though it is entertaining. And if only I had the position to get my Star Worlds going. All right, so where were we? We finished 51. Did we finish 51? Yeah, we did. Moroni put an end to those kingmen who are known by the appellation of kingmen. Do you understand this? Mosiah stops a monarchy, establishes the reign of judges, and he's named Moses Yah, which is interesting because that's who you're actually waiting for, is the man like Moses, who is Yah, and the name of Yah is Sun God, Emmanuel. Ishmael. Can't do the gutturals. Okay. Alright. And so, yeah, we're done. We're done. Imagine that. Imagine me and you and me. La 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 la. La, 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 la. 3rd Nephi, chapter 7. Now behold, I will show unto you that they did not establish a president over the United States of America in 2024 either. 2024, they failed in 2020. But that same year, they did destroy the commander-in-chief of the land, so that the vice president would become the president, and there would be no vice president to certify the election results. Project 2025. Thus, the Speaker of the House would be the one to decertify the election as a backup plan. I see it coming, and our federal agents are just like, yeah, bring it on. Death to America. Merrick Garland's slogan there in his desk, Death to America, failed to do his job. And so people were divided one against another into political parties. MAGA and deep state Dems did cause a national divorce, divided into states to become sovereign kingdoms, and they did destroy the federal government of the land. And so they appointed kings over each of the states, Trump being the King of Kings, the Lord of Lords, the chosen one to save the Jews. And the regulations of the government were destroyed because of what? Who? The secret combination of the friends and kindreds of those who murdered Joseph and Hiram. The 2nd to 4th generations of Danites. So yeah, if you hadn't been paying attention and you didn't bother to study the Joseph Smith Papers, Joseph Smith Papers makes it very clear with the affidavit of Thomas B. Marsh that the Danites told him that Joseph Smith became the leader of the Danites and committed all sorts of abominations and atrocities that are still believed by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints of Brigham Young to this very day, because they still refuse to tell us the truth, even though they've published the Joseph Smith Papers. And he also talked about the Danite plot. Remember John D. Lee? Yeah, he was involved in this too. He was involved in that election coup in Daviess County, Missouri in 1838. He forced a judge and a sheriff to sign affidavits that it was Joseph who was doing it. Joseph wasn't there. He was still in far west Missouri, which was 2 days away by horse. he would not have been able to get there in time. And so, how was it Joseph that was ordering this coup? Maybe we should ask that one woman who also had to sign an affidavit saying that Joseph Smith raped her and got sealed to her. Really? An affidavit, huh? After Joseph is dead, you go with Brigham and you're told to sign an affidavit. Really? Okay, whatever. They don't change their tactics. It's the same. Right, Avraham Gileadi? And so, yeah, they said that their intention was to overthrow the United States of America and then the world. And thus the extermination order. But because the Danites lied and said they were under orders of Joseph Smith, Governor Boggs thought it was the church that Joseph Smith had founded. And you know them by the wrong name of the church Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. So when Joseph Smith tells you in verse 1 of his 1838 history that didn't get published until he arrived in Nauvoo in 1842, and then learned that there were Mormons who were pretending to be Mormon who were not authorized to be Mormon. They had fake licenses. And the church has the audacity to have published those licenses on the Joseph Smith papers. Joseph Smith's forged signature and all. And so, yeah, it's just appalling. Let me read it from the Joseph Smith papers. See if you can figure out what's going on. Owing to the many reports which have been put in circulation. How do you let people know about your organization? Anybody ever been a missionary? By evil disposed and designing persons. Missionaries? Evil disposed and designing persons? Wasn't that Brigham's job and responsibility, especially after 1838, when the Danites chased Thomas B. Marsh out of the presidency of the 12? In relation to the rise and progress of, pay attention, the Church of the Latter-day Saints. All of which have been designed by the authors of the evil disposed and designing persons thereof to militate against its character as a church. Which nature and character of Constantine's Jesus does the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints have? Non-Trinitarian character. So what was Joseph's original religion if it wasn't Christianity? Verse 19. Hint, hint. Book of Mormon. You say you believe the Book of Mormon. 1 Nephi chapter 1 verse 2, in case you missed Joseph's introduction where he says prophecy and revelation in the learning of the Jews. Religion of the Jews. Which Jews? Current modern Jews of Orthodoxy? No. Pre-Babylonian captivity Jewish Egyptians. How can Jews be Egyptian? Because they were living in Judah. Phonetically the same as Utah. Ta-da! Prophecy and revelation, not literal history. And so the Joseph Smith Papers tells us Willard Richards, under orders of Brigham Young, who is now the president after writing this, of the 12 apostles who were the missionaries, putting in circulation the lies and deceptions of Joseph's church as Christian, putting Jesus in the name. Who are you voting for again? Doesn't matter. America will fall. It's too late to save it, and our federal government won't save it. Our federal government purposely caused the delays. Not just the one judge over the big issue who will not have Trump tried before the election. We still have July 11th for the sentencing of the overthrow of the 2016 election for a porn star cover-up, catch and kill. What will happen to him? Will he be running for president from prison and be resurrected from the prison tomb with his second coming? I told you in advance, and then boom, Marjorie Taylor Greene. How did I know? You don't believe me? That's hell. You believe who you follow. Found on the back of the note. But there's just a brief little thing to add. As the Book of Mormon has numerous stories involving corruption of government, not just others like Exodus pattern of Moses throughout the Book of Mormon as well. But that's why, is because of the corruption of government that's involved, and thus the need for an exodus. And so I've been going over those with you all these years as well. But yeah, right there from the very beginning, as the Book of Mormon is Jewish prophecy and revelation, not literal history. Therefore, it's not Zedekiah on the throne in the first year that the Book of Mormon talks about. The Antichrists, who are trying to overthrow the government, not just the church, involve people who want to be king. Amalekiah, Amulek. Well, Amulek is with Alma, wasn't it? The Amlicites. They're sort of Amlici. It's close. It's a different phoneme, but it just depends on what they were doing with the spelling. The original authors, remember, it's not literal history. Melech is king. And so, yeah, who founds the Jaredites? Melech, because of the forced exodus in 2024, because you didn't go in 2020 with the first resurrection. Revival, not resurrection. Did the video the other day. And so you've missed the second. Revival, resurrection, ex-foes. And so now we have the third resurrection of the criminals and the liars and the adulterers, those who go to the telestial kingdom, because you are wicked. And so, yeah, you're obviously not going to go to Zion. You're the ones who survived and are repenting and wanting to change your mind, change your direction, and produce the fruits of the changed mind and changed direction. Wrongly called repentance in the Christian translation of the Bible. Repentance means second physical pain. Wrong. But again, great movie, Da Vinci Code. The assassin repents by flogging himself, bleeding at every pore. And so, yeah, not just the Antichrist, not just Zedekiah, but the Lamanites, the Zoramites, the Jaredites, all involving government. So you're supposed to catch on to that. All because of 9/11/1826, which was confirmed by the Danites, even though they were falsely accusing Joseph of it as their newfound leader, that they were going to overthrow the government. It's kind of important to know the truth so that you can believe correctly. Because it's one thing to be illiterate and naive. It's a completely different thing to know the truth and purposely spread the lies, claiming that you're illiterate, pretending to be dumb so that you can purposely, maliciously spread the lies and misinformation. And those deep state Dems, they're so stupid, they don't know that MAGA purposely is doing that to trigger the sensitive snowflakes and to destroy America.